about the fact that what is mainstream and what is acceptable or what is not acceptable really makes a huge difference in people's lives.
I guess, though, for people writing memoir, the downside of this is you now really have to come up with a damn good story, because, boy, a lot of things have been written about.
Not if you have a dog.
Well, that's true. Or you put a dog on the cover. But you do, because, you know, I do also have a lot of students who come and they want to do a memoir, and it's sort of like, okay, but you have to have a good story.
And every morning there are about 50 buses taking programmers from San Francisco down here, and I think to myself, now what do you call a place where people live and then they commute to work someplace else? To me, you call that a suburb. So San Francisco, I'm willing to say, isn't part of Silicon Valley, but I'm willing to say, yeah, it's a suburb of Silicon Valley.
People now commute into Soma. I look out my window, and every morning they are coming from Market Street, they're coming from Caltrain. There are a lot of people on bicycles. This is a whole new tech culture, and I would actually say, if you want to really see what's happening, come to Soma.
How does writing about sex fit into your overall body of work?
The first novel that I worked on, I gave it to a trusted friend and editor who read the whole thing and said, okay, these are all 23-year-olds? I said, yeah. He goes, there is no sex in it. And I actually had to make this conscious effort, like, oh yeah, okay, so I have to write about their sex life.
There are too many times in my writing where what is happening to my characters in the bedroom, or wherever it might take place, matters. It matters to how they relate to each other, to who they are, to how they feel about their bodies, to you know, what their relationship to the physical world.
American poets writing now, those particularly who speak other languages aside from English, have that extra platform with which to address English and to say, how do we create this metaphor? Why does this word mean what it means?
No, it's the idea of language. It doesn't really matter what language you use. I mean, sorry, that's not true, because the language you use determines what you write in some way.
Although it's English and it's recognizable as English, it comes out somehow with a flavor of the Farsi, at least for me, to my ear.
Well, I grew up being a picky eater, really disliking a lot of vegetables, a lot of mostly grains, and fish. I was Michael Pollan's worst nightmare, basically. I mean, it is a disorder in that it affects health and social well-being, but it's not what they would call an eating disorder.
Before the rise of factory processed foods, it was quite easy to keep kosher because you knew what food was, right? Like Michael Pollan says, you can see the food that you're eating and choose whether it's a pig or an apple. Easy enough. But when you're picking up a can of soup and there are 23 ingredients on the label, only the first 4 or 5 of which are actual food, and you have no idea of what the rest of the ingredients are.
If I wrote this novel in verse in English, I might have still be running around and looking for publisher. So I really think I'm very lucky that things turned out that way.
It's really easy when you finish the book to say, good, I'm done. But having to go back and do the revision is hard work, but it makes it all worthwhile because it'll make it helps me grow as a writer to be able to revise, but it will also help the book be able to present itself better when it decides to go.
And I remember like many years ago when I first started writing, I was at a conference and an agent offered the advice. Someone had asked, when do you know when your book is ready? And her comment was, you know when the sight of your manuscript makes you literally physically ill.
And so I then spent 4 months working with my agent and essentially rewrote the back half of the manuscript.
Josie is surprised that her tutor is a man, that he is young, and that he is startlingly handsome. She considers walking back into the office of that horrible modern building and telling the waif behind the desk that she's made a mistake, that she doesn't want a tutor for the day, that she wants to go back to her hotel room and drink Orangina and vodka.
Thank you.